I'm interested mostly in individuals and groups inside the organization whose thoughts and behaviors are affected by people and things inside the organization. So I haven't done a lot of consulting actually, because I think it's important to know who you are, and I am primarily a researcher. And so when I have worked with companies, it's been in the rare case that they were willing to open themselves up a little bit and allow us to interview people or to survey employees. That's actually getting harder and harder. It seems like organizations are getting more and more closed. So it's difficult actually to do research inside organizations. But it's always been really important to me to have those connections and to try to get the word out about not only my research, but the other research that's going on in the field, and see if we can't influence practice in some way. And I'd like to think that we have. I actually feel like I've made a contribution because so many students around the world, really, it has been used surprisingly, because it's written, I think, from a U.S. perspective, but students around the world are being exposed to my way of thinking, which introduces the normative frameworks in an admittedly oversimplified way, but also the other ways of thinking about how you manage this kind of behavior. How do you have to, as a manager, how do you have to understand this kind of behavior in order to manage it? And also understanding your own biases, your own thinking processes, in order to manage your own behavior as well. So, being able to bring that to a very wide audience, and I understand ethics and compliance officers also have it on their shelves, some of them, so that feels good too.
That's great.
I like to refer to it as a research stream, not a program, because I'm not the kind of person who, I actually don't have the patience to just study one thing. I kind of go where my interests take me, and one of the joys of my career has been working with doctoral students. And so what we try to do usually is find an area of overlapping interest, and then I find myself getting sort of taken down this little stream and this little stream, but all of it is related to ethics in organizational context. And one of the things that I think I have contributed is to try to get people to think about the context. So it's not just about individuals making decisions, it's individuals making decisions and taking actions in the context of organizations and pressures and leaders and group members and all the things that affect human behavior. The Ethics Resource Center is was one of the oldest ethics-related not-for-profit organizations in the country. When I first knew about it, it was devoted to, it had two kind of agendas. One was character education in schools, and the other was organizational ethics. And the leader of the organization at the time had what I thought was a great vision, and that was to create something he called the Fellows Program, which would bring together leading ethics and compliance officers, people who were looking ahead, people who were forward-looking people, who were interested in advancing the field, and bring them together with people from academia, leaders from academia, as well as consultants and government people. And that was over 20 years ago, and that fellows program continues today. Part of our meetings, especially in the early years, we would talk about what do the ethics and compliance officers need to know? What research would help them do their work better? And one year they talked about leadership as being a real problem for them. At the time, I had a doctoral student who was very interested in leadership and really wanted to do that for his dissertation. And I talked to Mike Brown, who was my student. Knowing the ethics and compliance officers really helped because they connected us with senior executives. We interviewed 20 very, very senior VP and CEO level people at very prominent companies, and as well as 20 ethics and compliance officers. We asked them to think of someone they would put in the category of ethical leader without defining it. We would ask them a whole series of questions about, well, tell us about this person. What are their traits? What do you think is motivating them? How do they behave? All kinds of questions, about an hour-long interview. From that, developed a survey-based measure. We created this scale, this ethical leadership scale, which we published, and that just took off. And it's a whole field of research that we created, and there are companies who are doing ethical leadership training as a result of it. So I'm pretty proud of that work. I think it's an area I can point to where we've made a difference. People understand, and it focuses not just on the tone at the top, senior leadership, but actually most of the studies have been focused on the supervisory level. So we know how important supervisory ethical leadership is, and can point to a whole host of outcomes that are affected by it. It's not lonely anymore. We had a professional development workshop at the Academy of Management yesterday afternoon, and it was packed. And it was a behavioral business ethics professional development workshop. Half of the room was Ph.D. students. So people are fascinated, and there are some young faculty members, really top-notch researchers who are doing work in this area. So seeing the development of that field has been just so validating and has really made me happy.